Hi, this is the Social Jello with Angelo show. My name's Angelo. I'm a social scientist, surfer, martial artist, and a whole lot of other things. Coming to you live from Kasai City, Japan, the Social Jello with Angelo show. What is the Kajukenbo curriculum?
That's a good question. What are your thoughts, Mickey? What is the Kajukenbo curriculum?
Like, can you be a little more? I mean, to me, what the Kajukenbo curriculum is it's UFC with weapons. Except personally, with me, I don't want to go to the ground, but if I do, I am comfortable there. I just add, the Kingdom Wata, I'd bite your fucking ear off. I, gouge your eye. I pull my blade. I learn every aspect of Kajukenbo to kill every art. Does that make sense?
It does.
I want to learn it. I want to learn how to box so I know how to kill it. I will learn jiu-jitsu so I know how to kill it. Everything else, I did judo for a long time. I love judo. Learn how to kill judo. So, I mean, that's my thing. Learn everything. I'm a jack of all trades, a master of none. I'll go on, like right now with the COVID, this is a silver lining. I go on YouTube and I find instructors and I go, fuck, let me try that real quick. I'll go into the lab. I'll go grab one of my training partners. Hey, do this shit real quick. That doesn't work. Let me see if I can tweak it. Oh, that works. Boom. So with me, I am, dude, like back in the day when there was no YouTube or anything like that, I'd have to go through magazines. I'd go to Japan down in the city, buy a whole bunch of Pride tapes. I have shitloads of magazines. And, but yeah, I'm still thirsty, man. I'm still really thirsty. I think now I'm more into FMA because it just makes more sense to me. I look at the Bobby Tawadas of the world and the old Filipino masters. They look like they're about to fucking break. No, they're breaking someone off. Jesus Christ, man. Walking around in a Hawaiian shirt, just fucking somebody up. Whatever. And I just recently saw the feedback from Fight Quest. Did you guys see that?
What feedback?
Dude. I sent this to Eric. What the fuck was his name? One of the stars. What's his name?
The guy that was with Gaylord's camp?
Jimmy Smith was talking hella shit. Dude. I'm going to send it to you guys both after this is over. Like, he ripped. I won't even tell you. You guys watch it, and we didn't do another podcast about that.
Okay.
I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to leave it right there. But
I'm intrigued. All right.
No, dude. Jimmy Smith was fuck him. Anyway, I stabbed his ass hella times. But Ron's like, hey, man, you'll see it, Angelo. Did you see it?
The Fight Quest? Yeah, I saw the Fight Quest.
Yeah, I stabbed that fool hella times, but Ron's like, hey, man, give him your arms. Like, fucking, dude, he would never pull off that omoplats on me bullshit on me. Fuck that. He'd be dead by now. He's a fucking gutted pig, dude. Whatever. Anyways. What the hell? I don't know what the hell my point was.
No. What is, and the reason I'm asking this question, I'm going to make a completely different YouTube video for this section right here. And it's about what is the Kajukenbo curriculum? That's the question that we had. What is the Kajukenbo curriculum? And it's just to kind of prove a point about what I'm always talking about, of how people from different schools and the individuality and freedom that they give us, what that produces. So, John, what is your Kajukenbo curriculum? What is that?
I would say the curriculum, to sound like an old man with a long white beard, the curriculum is no curriculum. It's nothing, man. I mean, the curriculum officially is a list of techniques that some dude passed on to the next dude. But the thing about Kaiju, it has that philosophy is, well, this technique worked, at this point in time, and now your point in time is different. The Kajukenbo curriculum is, we are in Japan. We have a chance to train with people with the Kobudo. We have the chance. Mickey, if you're ever interested in old martial arts, look up something called Takanouchi. I think it's called Takanouchi. It's from Okayama, actually. It's a Kobudo. Kobudo is like this martial art that is old and ancient and is passed on family to family for like generations. And like you go to the school and they've got like 10 students max. they're not making money on this. They're just trying to pass down tradition. This is a style that the techniques actually are pretty good with Kajukenbo, actually. Like a lot of the, like tying them up.
Is that the one where they're wearing the masks? They wear the face masks for the sparring?
No. As far as I know, no. This is...
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Kudo.
Yeah, Kudo's something different. This is all traditional, like, connected to samurai, I think, actually. Like, their idea was, you know, this dude's attacking your daimyo, so knock him the fuck out, bring him to the ground, and tie his hands up. And this was all very realistic stuff. Will that work today? That's better than other styles. You know, Kyudo has a lot of history. As Kajukenbo, our style, our system says, you like Kyudo, go train it. Can you apply that to someone attacking you on the street today? If no, get rid of it for your training, but keep it for your mental training. And that is the style of what Kajukenbo should be.
Angelo, hold on. Let me rethink that question again. What is the Kajukenbo curriculum? Again, it really depends. Like everyone makes a double different, you know, like, let me ask you guys this, just off the topic. When we do a punching attack, why the hell do we throw our rear? When I box, I throw my lead hand. No one's going to throw from way out here in Okayama, right? I'm going to throw it with my lead. So,
in Okayama, you can lead with anything.
Dude, right. That's what I don't understand. Anyway, so, and no one, there's a guy named Rodney King. And so no one, you know, and he's like, he's the inventor of the crazy monkey system. He says, I'll send that to you guys as well. He goes, there's always this one guy that comes on Facebook or whatever. He'll beat the shit out of his students and his students won't fight back. See, you see what I'm saying? Like, just to make you look good. Yeah, you kick me in the nuts, I probably won't get up. But dude, there's times where, you know, Ron hit me and I was like, bro, was that really necessary, man? You know, I mean, come on, dude. Like, you know what I mean? To prove a point.
Were you there when you knocked me
out? You know, like, you really had to fucking hit me with your elbow.
Were you there?
You could have really fucked me up.
Out at Dino's?
Sure, on more than one occasion.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but anyways, I don't, man, Angelo, that's a good question. I mean, I don't know if I answered it right, but yeah,
I don't think there is a right answer to this. And I think that's why I like to ask Kajukenbo, because I get asked this all the time. Like I told you, I travel. I went to China and visited a bunch of MMA schools of different backgrounds. And they kept asking me the same question. What's Kajukenbo? What, how does that work? Can you show me a Kajukenbo technique? And I'm like,
that's hard, man. I had a bartender ask me that a couple of times. Like, what is Kajukenbo? It's hard to explain.
I can tell you what Kajukenbo is. But when I got tripped up, when they asked me, can you show me a Kajukenbo standard technique? And I was like, I can show you a Kajukenbo technique that I use, that my instructor taught me, but I can't guarantee that technique is what your instructor taught you or your instructor taught you. Like,
I think it's the thing. Yeah. You know, we all, oh no, that's not the way you do the grab bar. Guess what? If I fucking flick you in the eye and I kick you in the nuts, what does it matter? It's the concept, it's the mindset. That's the curriculum.
If it hurts, it works.
I mean, because look, I'm sure, you know, Grandmaster Abad had a kick in the groin. We have a kick in the groin, a finger jab to the eye. You know, I mean, there's nothing that's original. There's not. Everyone just does it. Oh, I don't like the way Bautista does it, so I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna call it the Mickey method. Fuck. They call it methods, and you know, all this old school. My fucking black belt's falling apart. You know, I get it, man. I get it.
Just promise you one thing, Mickey. If you ever create your own style, don't call it the Mickey method. It's not going to sell well with Disney.
Actually,
Mickey,
don't listen to John. I think the Mickey method has an awesome sponsor, because you got the Mickey beer, and they sponsored the UFC for a long time, way before fucking Reebok came in. So like they're looking for people.
He's got a point.
But all joking aside, like the reason I say about this whole thing about the curriculum, what is the curriculum, is because this comes up a lot. Like I told you, I do this cross training with the jiu-jitsu guys, and now at the jiu-jitsu place that I train at, now my instructor is being asked that same question. He doesn't know how to answer that. Like I'm sitting there fucking up one of their black belts or one of their brown belts, and I'm submitting them, and I hear in the background in Japanese, "Where's this guy from?" Because I only have a blue belt right now. Where's this guy from? What does he do? He does something called Kajukenbo. What is that? Some Hawaiian thing. My instructor's like,
Dude, Mickey, we have
it's like a Hawaiian. It's like a Hawaiian. It's like a MMA. It's like MMA. It's like MMA, I guess. It's like MMA, and they're just looking at it like, well, whatever it is, it's working. Like so, like. And
Mickey, man, you have no idea how hard it is to explain to Japanese people what Kajukenbo is.
Tell them, you know what? It's what Bruce Lee does. They'll get that. or you know what?
But 20 years earlier, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just tell them it's. I mean, what it's I don't know, man. Fuck. Cheers.
No, seriously, like. But this is a great question because
Devin, hold on, I'm all flustered.
People, no. Honestly, it's a great question because my answer to that question, for you guys, you asked me what is a Kajukenbo curriculum. I'm gonna say it's a mix of what I was taught and where I'm at now. Because when I was taught this, I was in a different place mentally. We talked about, like, if we're going to bring my psychology background into this, when I was taught Kajukenbo, I was a young, wild man with no kids, no wife, and just got out of experiences of violence. And all I wanted to do was fuck someone up. That's all I wanted to do. That's the reason I got into Kajukenbo. I wanted to fuck someone up at all costs. And my instructor grabbed that wild guy who wanted to fuck people up at all costs, didn't care about doing time in prison, kept calling me a murderer doing self-defense, and polished it into something else. And when I got done with his program, my journey continued. I got into MMA. I got into my while going up in the ranks with him, I did one MMA tournament where I placed second place. And then after that, I stopped competing. I never liked competing. I stopped competing for a while, came back to Japan, and then I didn't find John, like I was telling you earlier. I couldn't find John, so I joined an MMA club to keep training. At the MMA club, I told my wife I wouldn't compete anymore because she didn't like that. She's like, I don't like who you turn into when you compete because I get really fucking like zoned out and training every day and just fucking like I'll abandon all responsibilities and just be focused on wanting to win. And that's not exactly that's the mentality to win, but it's not exactly the mentality to keep a good marriage, you know? So like I would go all out. And then I started doing MMA and I lost my first fight. And I was so pissed that the rules did not allow ground and pound. So I got way into jiu-jitsu to make up for that. So like when you ask me, what's the Kajukenbo curriculum for me? Well, I had to learn from my mistakes. I learned real quick that I didn't have enough ground game. Like I had a good ground game if I can punch the guy, but if I couldn't punch the guy and you had this weird improvised rule set, I needed more ground game. So I went into this whole other set of skills. And the Kajukenbo that I'm teaching now to my students, there's still the stuff that my instructor taught, but there's this other stuff that my instructor has no idea what it is. He wouldn't even recognize it.
Ground game's important, man. I got to say, Mickey was the one who introduced me to ground game. Mickey, you were the first one to teach any jiu-jitsu stuff to me at all, and it still sticks with me. And I got to get back into it now because I don't have anyone to work with. And I'm trying to train what we have with people, man. But seriously, like Mickey was my intro to the real ground game, ground and pound, everything. I see you smiling, man.
Thanks, sir. I mean,
I'm
still trying to wrap my head what the hell Kajukenbo. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what the fuck it is.
but seriously though, I think that's what, like, if anybody's watching and I make a podcast out of this and anybody's listening to this, I think there is no real answer to this question. I think one of the beauties of Kajukenbo is that they don't lock us in, right? You talk to a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy, they're locked in. They are locked in. They're like, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and they're like, and that's it. That's all it is. And you ask them basic questions like, well, what if the guy does this, or what if the guy starts? Well, no, then I'm going to close the distance, and I'm going to put him down on the ground. I'm going to choke him or something. But they're not. Well, what if you're fighting 2 or 3 guys, or what if you fight? They don't have answers to these questions, and if they do, they're like, well, then I'm going to submit faster. It's always based on the paradigm of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And if you ask a Kung Fu guy these same questions, they'll answer the same way. Well, I know I'll never go to the ground because I'm going to do if you Wing Chun guys, I'm going to do my chain punch, and then I'm not going to go to the ground. So like, I think the beauty of Kajukenbo and maybe the critique of Kajukenbo is the fact that we don't have an answer to that question because we're kind of taught to have that paradigm of Ka for karate, Ju for judo jiu-jitsu, Ken for kempo, and Bo for boxing. And in that path, we're not locked in to becoming a stylist. Well, I've met stylists. I've met plenty of stylists in my time doing martial arts. So like, I can go anywhere. I can travel the world, and I can kind of understand, even if you are a stylist or a traditionalist, I can kind of understand your mentality and where you're coming from with it. I won't fully understand it for myself, but I'll understand where they're coming from with it. But at the same time, I'm kind of just open to any style being presented to me, if that makes any sense.
It does. It's what it should be.
All right. So Mickey asked a great question. How are we handling COVID in Japan as martial arts instructors? John, how's that going with you?
Terribly. Good night. No, it really sucks because like I am jealous because I know you got your place to train. Mickey, you got some videos going on, your people training, and it sucks because I don't got a dojo. So, I mean, I was training mostly at a community center. What that means is that I'm doing mostly Zoom lessons, which I don't know if people realize. If anybody, not just our students, anybody's watching this who trains in Kajukenbo doing Zoom lessons, it's a pain in the ass for the instructor. It's really hard to teach to a screen. We know people are there. We know they're trying hard, but we're humans. We've evolved to react to each other, and it's really hard to just talk to a screen and teach. And on top of that, I mean, like I was saying, I don't got my own school, so I'm only doing this out of my own computer room, my living room. And, you know, we were going to the parks once in a while. We're training at the parks, which is cool. Otherwise, it's hard, man. It's hard, especially for us in Japan. California, Mickey, if you have like an official Kajukenbo program and, you know, someone breaks out with a COVID, it's like, okay, another martial arts school. In Japan, the way peer pressure works, the whole, what's the word? The way the whole society works, if a martial arts school is revealed in the news to have a COVID cluster, they're going to mention it was a martial art from Hawaii called Kajukenbo. And then in the news will be spread, what's Kajukenbo? I don't know, but this was the school that had COVID. And that's going to stick with us for years. So we got to be really fucking careful because this is going to affect us in the future. It's going to affect everything. We were doing really well. I realized my goal was to get more Japanese people because I had a few Japanese students and a bunch of foreign people because our schedules fit. And we had more Japanese people coming in, and suddenly this happens and we cannot teach anymore. It's hard, man, because wearing a mask don't matter. Teaching at a community center, that's a lot of old people who go there, which means the community center says, sorry, you cannot do this class if you guys are breathing heavy and making contact. For me, it's been hard as hell. I've been relying on my students to train at home, to train hard. I tried to inspire them when the corona first came out to work out at home. I keep saying the corona. This is what it's been like for me. It's been hard. And I'm hoping I know my students have been keeping contact. They've been working. They've been sending me videos. They've been working with me on Zoom. And I know I found a couple who are really sticking, you know, because this is not for money. It's not a business. This is something I think they're going to stick with for the rest of their lives. They might take a break in the next couple of years, but it's serious to them. And I think it's going to keep going. This is what it's been like for me. Now, Angelo, you've got your own place to work out. You've had students coming in and students doing Zoom at the same time, right?
Yeah.
What's that been like?
I mean, I mean, for me, it's a little different because, like I said, my program was never as large as yours. I think you had more students than I did. And it's because of the nature of where I live. Like, I live in the middle of nowhere. So the coronavirus, really, we didn't have any outbreaks in my town. We finally had an outbreak 2 weeks ago. And so my local students immediately went to Zoom. We stayed on Zoom for 2 weeks, and then we came back into class. One of my students has to stay on Zoom because her company has asked her to not do anything outside of work. That's another weird thing, Mickey, about Japan is like people worship their companies out here. So like if your company asks you to not do anything and just go home after work, then they just listen.
I'm convinced that the religion of Japan is not Shinto, it's not Buddhism, it's work. This is the religion of this country, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard like people will just die, but what is that called, John? You told me about that. People.
Karushi.
Dude, I mean, look.
Work to death.
I mean, that was me at my corporate job for the past 15 years. I wanted to, but I'm still here, so whatever.
Well, hey, man, I showed you before-after picture. Obviously, you chose the right path.
Yeah, I remember that. I was like, dude, look at this fucking guy. But whatever, dude. You know, to each his own, man. Yeah, guys, it's bad out here. Luckily, I have my own gym. And you know what? I keep my bubble small. I do wear a mask. But fuck, dude, all I do is Zoom workouts and live workouts on. And, man, it's tough because I have to do cardio hits. It's taking a toll, but you know what? Hey, that's what pays the bills. People are going to come out of COVID either hella fat or either in shape. I mean, and I keep it real with a lot of people. I don't think and I think if your immune system is strong, which we're trying to do, you can combat anything. And it's attacking the 70-year-olds and, you know, the fucking dumbasses that are having mansion parties over here in LA. I hope all those fucks die, you know, seriously. You know, and then we go to downtown Pleasanton, and these privileged folks ain't wearing masks, and I'm looking at them. Hey, you want to know what Kajukenbo is? Ask them. Hey, put your mask on. Fuck you. And then we go at it. Now, you want to test yourself? There it is. But, yeah, it's crazy times, man. I feel bad for my kids. You know, they got to do everything virtual. Today was their first day of school. But for the most part, I mean, honestly, my life hasn't changed much since this pandemic. I still do the same things. It just sucks that I can't take my wife to a sit-down restaurant to eat. You know, I mean, we have to go through drive-thrus and takeout, and you know, honestly, this is what I tell everyone: is you got to think outside the box. This is where our martial training is going to come in handy, because you know what? Everyone's fucking mentally breaking up here.
Yeah,
they are, bro.
I gotta say that we're pretty lucky in Japan because, like, basically restaurants and places are still open, and
you can dine out. Is it like outdoor seating?
Oh, both.
No, it's everything's open. Yeah. Like
totally open. And the thing is, like, you look at numbers. Like, I think Japan's had a little more than 1,000 deaths total.
Yeah,
and had this bunch of sicknesses. My honest thought, people have asked me about this. Number one, Japan has a really healthy diet, which seems small. I think that's why Japan has such a long life expectancy. We got people in their 80s plus who want to continue driving and working for various reasons. There's partly culture as well. We also got how natural it is to wear a mask. Before COVID came out, it was normal to wear a mask in flu season, not just to protect yourself. It was more to, like, protect other people. I mean, yeah, I don't want to get sick. I'll put a mask on. I don't want to get allergies, so I'll put a mask on. But at the same time, I might have it and not know it. And a lot of people wearing masks anyway. And to add, just normal. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and to add to that point, Mickey, what happens out here, man, like when I was working, I work for myself now. I got my own thing going. But when I used to work for a bigger company, like I would tell them, like, oh, right now I got allergies. So my company would ask me, hey, go ahead and wear a mask. I'm like, but I'm not sick. They're like, it doesn't matter. Like, you got a mask. That's the kind of culture they have out here. Like, if you have a cough, if you have a sniffle, wear a mask. That way you can come to work, even if it's allergies. Like, you wear a mask so that you kind of show other people that you don't want to, you know, that you're trying to, even if you're not sick, even if they think you're sick, you don't want to You don't want people judging you, thinking that you're just normal sick. This is before COVID. This is way before COVID. This is like, I've been out here for 7 years. That was kind of weird for me. I was like, I don't want to wear a mask. Honestly, I was like, I don't want to wear a mask. It's fucking 95 degrees out, 80% humidity. I don't want to wear a mask. But I was told by the culture, like, hey, you have to wear a mask. It's considered rude if you don't. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess that's something I got to adjust to. And I did. So, like, it's a little different out here.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I mean, so let me ask you guys this. When do you guys think it's going to be over? When is life going to be back to normal?
About a year minimum.
So I've been looking at the research. And when I say research, I don't mean a bunch of fucking YouTube videos or like fucking tinfoil hat posts on Facebook. Looking at the stuff that I listened to stuff like, what is it? Big Picture Science. You want a good podcast to listen to, you listen to my podcast or you're watching my YouTube channel. Check out Big Picture Science. It's brought to you by the SETI Institute. A bunch of legit scholars, academics, scientists coming from Yale, Harvard, all the top schools, and they talk about this kind of stuff. So what I'm hearing from them is there's two things that might happen. In the next year or two, we may end up with a vaccine. They've accelerated human trials, and right now some of the studies are already in their third human trials, which is unfucking heard of. Like, this usually takes 5 years, but within a few months, they've already gotten their third human trial to try to make the process faster. But what one epidemiologist was talking about, which I found interesting, was that if you look at the history of epidemiology and pandemics as far as time, the Black Plague, the Spanish flu, they all kind of have the same kind of life cycle of 2 to 3 years where they release a vaccine, but it's not truly dead until 2 or 3 years because of the amount of time it takes for people to gain herd immunity. So if you kind of put together all the science behind it, it really does look like 2 to 3 years, depending on how herd immunity works and how the actual vaccine works. And after that, it'll disappear, just like the Black Plague and the Spanish flu and everything else. It fucking sucks that this happened to us, right? We were that Actually, I go back on the fact that we were really fucking lucky that we're that generation that hasn't had to experience a world war or anything like that. Everything was really smooth sailing for the last, 60 years or so. I mean, yeah, we had small battles. You look at like the shit that happened, but as far as like a world war scale, like that shit that you hear about World War II and the Spanish flu, our generation's kind of lucky that we didn't have to experience something that affects the entire world with mass death. And even if, arguably, I don't want to get political, but like, you know, you look at Spanish flu and you look at COVID, Spanish flu is more severe than COVID, but still, this is the closest thing our generation has to an event that impacted us all worldwide. Where like me, you, and John can have the same conversation about how it's affected us. And it's inconvenient. It fucking sucks. But 2 to 3 years and then life gets back to normal without – it's a pandemic. It's better than a world war where there was no answer, right? There was no answer. Our predecessors with the World War, when's the World War going to end? When is World War II going to end? Fuck if I know, dude. Like, fuck if I know. Hitler's killing people and they're dropping bombs all over the place and fucking mortar shells. So like, I try to look at the bright side of things and say, hey, at least there's an escape 2 to 3 years from now. And our generations before that experienced a world war where they didn't know when countries are going to stop killing each other. And then when the nuclear thing happened, they were afraid that everyone's going to just blow themselves up. Fuck. I guess we got it pretty good. We got internet. I can have this conversation with you.
It's crazy, bro. Like, you know, so, you know, we I always check keys, wallet, phone, mask, you know? I mean, yeah.
It has changed. And you know what, man? We have those oxygen deprivation masks for training already. I mean, this is not that far from what
Fuck,
we do.
dude, I almost passed out wearing that shit, man. Fuck. That shit. I mean, hey, my lungs I think my cardio's better now for wearing that.
Right?
But damn, dude.
Kajukenbo.
Crazy.
Adapt, improvise, overcome.
That's why sometimes I tell my coach, man, hey, let me work out by myself. Go 30 feet away, bro. Stay away from me so I don't have to put a mask on. Fuck. But, yeah, this is wild times, bro. I mean, we're in a movie right now. So, you know, I'm hoping it's not 2 to 3 years. I'm hoping by February this should be done. But, dude, yeah, I don't know. I got to pace myself with this because as a coach, we got to keep our people inspired and motivated.
Yeah.
And by me demonstrating, I'm hoping it motivates people. But, you know, let me ask you guys this. If I'm here demonstrating technique and boxing and doing all this stuff, are you guys doing it with me? Or are you guys watching me? Look at this fucking guy. You know, good for him. You know, I'm fucking breaking my back and shit. Real talk, dude. You know, that's why if we're doing Zoom and I can see you guys, I'm like, come on, Angelo, bro. You got to throw, you know, don't drop your hand, bro. Come on. You're up here drinking that beer or whatever. Come on, bro.
When my company, when Japan first hit our quarantine, when it was right around okay, give me a second. I'm going to pour myself a shot. Right around quarantine time, or Golden Week for us, like all these companies suddenly shut down because the government finally said, please shut down for a couple of weeks. We're going to do this. I tried to just make a challenge video, you know, and I did the challenge. I put 3 tiers and basically beginners, middle, and advanced, and people could do whatever they want. I asked them, please put some videos. And some people did, but the number was small. And I got people as well who say, they'll tell me, you know, like, I love Kajukenbo, I love training, I love exercise, but if a teacher is not there, I have no motivation. You know, and though I have people like that who are pushing themselves just to do a Zoom lesson. I know it's difficult. I know it's fucking hard. And they're trying.
You know what? Here's the thing. We just had this conversation today, and a lot of people. I know you guys ain't like. And I was telling people this. We know you're not working out, but you know it has to come from within. You're not. This is not your lifestyle, bro. For a lot of people, this is a hobby. This is something to keep in shape. You know what I mean? Some people aren't hardcore like us. No one's gonna, you know. I can't force you to do a burpee, dude. You know, don't do it. Don't do it. Here's boys, but I don't know. It's what it
is a hobby. And the thing is, there are people who will never make it more than a hobby, and at one point, that's okay because it's still something good for them. I remember hearing about the tomahawk. Apparently, the tomahawk was a martial arts trend. They had a couple years where people were interested, and they're not knife and stick. They want to learn a tomahawk of all things. And you know what? If you're a hobbyist, all right, go ahead. And it's better than nothing. I mean, the thing is, at least
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is more than a trend, all right? But it is a hobby for a lot of people, man. I mean, it is, and I wish it could be more. I think Kung Fu, as much as they've failed to prove themselves in the MMA world with Zhu Daozhong in China right now and everything else, the one thing about Kung Fu that I think is awesome is that if you train Kung Fu, it does affect your health, your life, your flexibility. When I shattered my toe and I had to have surgery on it, I was doing a cat stance at home more often than I was doing any form. Just trying to sit down and move around furniture, the cat stance. The things you learn in Kung Fu, it's more than a hobby. It's makes your life easier to live. The switch step, which comes up, and we got a form called Laogar, which is switching your drive step. I've done that at the beach to protect my shoes from getting wet. Just simple, small things, simple, small footwork. And you look down and suddenly you're doing this kung fu technique just to catch a cup of water. It's, you know what I'm talking about? This is not just fighting. And kung fu does it more than I think other styles. But for the hobbyists as well, any bit of Kajukenbo, the health, the cardio, the life, the flexibility, it has a positive effect on your life that will affect you in many ways.
And then for you guys, like I said, I know it can be discouraging because you can't get your students to, you can't push your students the way you pushed them when you were there live, right? But I know it's a little different for you, Mickey, because you're out in California. But when they opened up for us out here in Japan, I held a small belt promotion for the students that kept doing their Zoom stuff. And they came in live, and then we did our live stuff, and their skill at least stayed the same, right? It didn't get better, but it stayed the same. And I held a belt promotion, and one of the Japanese girls said that she thanked me. And she said, she didn't thank me for the promotion. She said, thank you for continuing to do the Zoom lessons, because when the gyms closed, when everything closed and I had nothing, I looked forward to that one class. And that, to me, for as much of a pain in the ass the Zoom lessons are, that made my day. That made my day, because it kind of gave me a validation that it might not be what I want it to be, but if this student is spending all week looking forward to that one thing that I don't want it to be, but she's looking forward to it, then it's worth it. And
I hear
that,
you.
and that's one thing I've been happy about.
I mean, they're begging me to go to the parks and, to train, and I want to, but we can't. But they're still happy to join in the Zoom lessons because that's all we got. It makes a difference, man. I mean, this is not just being a martial arts coach. This is being a teacher of anything. Talk to a classroom teacher. You talk to a student in the classroom whose life you changed and who just wants to learn something. It makes it worthwhile. I mean, just any student telling your teacher, thank you, it's a life-changing thing, man. It really impacts us.
We definitely play an important role right now. I think our job as coaches is bigger more now than it's ever been. Like, and if you get one student that tells you, hey man, that Zoom, I look forward. I mean, look, man, that's it, and that's the thing is, I put the Zoom outs there for these people, and dude, not one will come on, and if I do put it out there, it's like we're forcing people. Look, man, we're doing this for you. You guys are lucky that these Zoom workouts are free. Other people are charging hella money. Yeah. I mean, we're a non-profit. We do this for free. You're getting really good instruction from high-level coaches that know their shit, and you're gonna sit on your ass. You know what? Go ahead and get fat and die. Take that off. You know what?
Just Mickey, I would join if it weren't at like 4:00 in the morning here in Japan. Just so you know, right?
Well, speaking of which, guys, it's time for me to get some beauty sleep.
All right, brother. Hey, so there's the COVID in Japan. That's the answer. Mickey, thank you very much. John, thank you very much. And we'll catch you all later with our next 4 shots of Kaju. And that's a wrap. Thank you very much for checking out Social Jello with Angelo. If you still are around and you want to support the show, check out www.socialjello.com. Scroll down to the Amazon banner and do some shopping. Doesn't cost you anything. Costs you zero. And they'll send a little bit of my way just for you helping out and showing that you watched the show. And I really appreciate it for you listeners out there. I appreciate you very much. I'm growing very slowly, but surely. The show is growing, and I really do appreciate that. Much love and respect. And I'll catch you all next time.